Hey guys, PB here from Home Automation Project. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we are going to talk about OpenVPN, how you can set up OpenVPN in pfSense. So what is OpenVPN? OpenVPN is a tunneling application which you can set up on your pfSense router, which allows you to access your local resources and applications on the LAN from outside the LAN, primarily from the internet, without having to expose those devices or those applications to the internet. As an example, one of the most common use cases would be to access your camera feeds. You wouldn't want your camera feeds to be accessible from the internet, but you would still want to access those feeds when you are not at home. So that is one of the primary use cases I use OpenVPN for. Other than that, you can extend that functionality to any kind of application that you have running in your home. For example, even my home assistant, I haven't exposed it to the internet, but I do access it from time to time from outside my home, and OpenVPN allows me to do that. OpenVPN comes with a client server kind of setup. The server will be set up in the pfSense and the client, there are many versions of client available which you can set up in your laptop or on your phone. It does support iOS and Android as well. So almost any kind of hardware that you want to use to access your applications from outside your home, you can use. Most common use case would be again for your phone. So I will demonstrate how you can do that in this video. I will also demonstrate with an example of accessing a camera feed from outside the home. Hopefully that will get you a good understanding of how OpenVPN works. One thing I must say that there are other applications apart from OpenVPN which pfSense supports for this kind of functionality. However, in my personal experience, I've been using OpenVPN for quite a few years now, and I have never had to even restart the server. It has been working perfectly well. It does the job. There's no performance issues as well for me, so I have been pretty happy with it. So I continue to use it. OpenVPN does require you to expose one port on your router to the outside world, but it is a pretty secure and proven method of accessing. It does allow end-to-end encryption and also supports user authentication for accessing, so it is relatively safe to use this. Without further ado, let's get started. So to get started, there are a few things you need to set up as a prerequisite. One of the things you need is some kind of DDNS service, dynamic domain name server service, and there are quite a few free websites which offer this. One of the ones I had been using is called DuckDNS. So here you can basically assign a public domain name to your IP address, which means if your router IP address provided by the WAN, which is basically your service provider, if it changes in future, it doesn't impact your OpenVPN, because if you are using the mapped domain name service, it is always going to be able to resolve it to the correct IP address. So you could actually, if you are having a router or a service, internet service, which is based on a static IP address, you could use IP address in your OpenVPN. But I would definitely recommend using one of these free DNS services. So I have used DNS a while now, and well, so that's things. There are some installation instructions here. You can follow this instruction if you plan to use this, and you can then set up a DNS service using this software. The first thing we need to set up on pfSense is your OpenVPN server. For that, you can click on the OpenVPN menu, and then under this option, select the option called Wizards. This is a pretty simple way to set up the OpenVPN server, which does all the necessary steps for you and do not need to do them individually. So the first option here is to select the type of server. In our case, we are just going to set it up for home use, or local user access is fine. This means that you will have to set up for every user of the OpenVPN. You'll need to set up a specific certificate authority or a user certificate with their own credentials. But for home use, since it will be very limited number of users, this is going to be fine. The other cases are mostly for enterprise scenarios, so you can ignore them, then hit next. And under certificate authority, if this is the first time you're doing this, you won't see an option here. You can directly click on add new CA and then give a description. In my case, I've given it as CA, and you can leave all the other options as default. Just give it a common name if you want to, and country and location details if that's something you want to put up. For this video, I'm going to just leave that as blank, add new CA. And then the next step is it will ask you to add a new certificate, which is the server certificate. So click on add new certificate. Again, give it a descriptive name. I just named it here. Given a description of my server CA and given a common name of server CA. Then click on create new certificate. And the next step here, it is going to ask you to set up the server configuration. So just give it the name to the server. This is a server that we'll use later to create client certificates. Protocol here is UDP on IPv4. The default is fine. Try to use UDP. TCP is a bit slower side and not recommended. UDP is the preferred protocol. If you are using IPv4 and IPv6 in your home, then you can use this option down here. Interface will be on the port. Ideally, it's 1194 or 1195. You can change it. Let's say, for example, for this video, we are going to set it 1196. There are a lot of these keys and authentication options, encryption bits, which you can set up. You can fine tune them if you need more security, or say you need more speed but less security. You can fine tune these options. For most cases, the default works pretty fine. So I'm going to just leave them at default. The next thing that you need to put down is your tunnel network and local network. So tunnel network, I'm going to just give it, let's say, 0. So generally, /24, do keep the subnet same as your LAN subnet. Avoid any issues. This IP range or this traffic which will be incoming onto your LAN from the outside is basically the IP of the tunnel network. Try to keep it completely separate from any of your LAN or VLAN IP networks because it should not overlap with any of the VLAN IPs. So just keep it. So in my case, for example, I've got the LAN IP here, which is in the range of 192.168.1.0, and then the tunnel network is totally different, like 10.0. Or let's make it actually, let's say 10.0.9.0. So this is a tunnel network, the IP for your tunnel network, and this will be your local LAN network. If you have VLAN setup, you can give the primary LAN's IP address, the LAN which has access to other VLANs within your home network, so that you are able to access all the applications and devices across VLANs using OpenVPN. Concurrent connections, you can specify the maximum number. This is if you have 2 users in the home, both of them can connect together simultaneously. So that's the number. Maybe if you have multiple devices you want to connect simultaneously, also you can give a suitable number accordingly. In my case, I'm just going to keep it as 2. Rest all options can be left as default. You can put, if you have a preference for a DNS server, you can put that in here and then hit next. And remember to select these 2 options. Firewall rule, OpenVPN rule. If you don't do it, you'll have to create these rules manually, which could be quite cumbersome. So best to have this ticked here, or rules will be automatically created. You can view the rule on firewall once you have created the server, and you can, if you want to make a change to it or in any way, you can do that. Last step just tells you what the next steps will be after you have set up the server. You need to set up a user certificate and user authority and the user manager, and also package under packages. So we need to install a package called OpenVPN client export package, which helps us to export the client certificate very easily. And finally, the certificates that we create in this wizard are all available under the certificate manager. If you need to modify the certification, you can go there and do it. So let's hit finish. Give it a few seconds. So once you've done that, you will see your new server has been created, the test OpenVPN server, and it's ready to be accessed. But you can't access it yet. So the next step would be to create the user certificate. So go to user manager and then hit add, and then here you can give the name, but most likely it will be the name of the person who is going to use this certificate to access OpenVPN. Give it a password, something which is secure enough. You can give it a full name. Lots of other options you can select. I'm just going to skip them. Just the next thing I'll do is click to create a user certificate. This is an important step. Let me just name, description, so to just name it test VPN. And then under this certificate authority, select the certificate authority that you just created, and then you can leave the key defaults, and everything else you can leave as default and hit save. And that should create this user. You can add them to the admin group if you want them to access or to be able to access admin functions while logged into OpenVPN. But I would say that initially, just you can leave them. So now that you've created the user, you can, next thing we need to do is we need to go to System Package Manager. Here you will need to install the package for the client export, OpenVPN client export. So there are 2 tabs here, available packages and install packages. As you can see, I've already installed this package, so it's coming under install packages. But if you haven't done it, you can go to available packages and then you need to search with OpenVPN. Hit search. Should show you the option, which is not showing for me because I've already installed it. But you can hit install and let it install, and then do confirm that installed correctly by looking at the installed packages, and it should show up here once it is successfully installed. So once you have done that, you can go back to the OpenVPN menu and here we can go to client, and here you need to select the server that we just created, port 1196 in my case, and then hostname resolution. You can use IP address if you have a static IP for your router, but if you are using a DDNS, as I mentioned in the very first step, you can use other, and here you can put in the hostname as the let's say example dot org. So let's say this is your DDNS name, then you can put this here. You can leave this most of the other settings as default. And so as you can see here, we have the user certificate already has come here, so you can just click the download options. So I prefer to use this OpenVPN Connect iOS/Android option because I think that works pretty good. So click here to download the file, and let's save it here. So once you've created this file, once you've downloaded the client certificate file, which will be basically a .ovpn file, you can right click and open it in your text editor. It's a simple text file, and when you do that, you will see the options listed here in plain text. I would ask you to just add a few in terms of performance. I found that if you tweak the settings a bit more, it's generally performs better. So some of the settings that I'd like to add, I'm just going to put them here. So one thing is enabling the fast IO, then enabling the send and the receive buffers, setting up the send and the receive buffers. Those are basically the three things that I would say you can add. The options you can just put to them under this bind. These three settings here, I find that this definitely helps a lot in improving the speed of the tunnel. So that's something, and then you can just hit save. So there's no format issues if you hit it, if you save it directly from the text editor. So let's go and connect using the Open client and see how this works. Okay, so here I've installed this OpenVPN client application first. Yeah, you can do that by just going to Play Store or your App Store, and you can have install the software on your mobile. Next, once you open the software, it will give you this option to add the .vpn OVPN setting file. So just click on this and then file, browse and upload the file. You before you do that, obviously you need to move this file into your phone or a shared drive from where you can upload the file. So just hit browse and upload file. Once you do that, the profile will be imported and you will see something like this. Let's first look at an application which we are able to access. As you can see here, I'm connected to the LAN, so the Wi-Fi symbol is on, so which means I can access my local camera feed. So let's have a quick look at that. So I've got this Reolink camera in my garage which I have access to. As you can see, it's able to provide me a live view. If I close it and open it again, you can see that this provides me a live view of the camera at the moment, and I'm connected to the LAN. Next, we can block internet. I have already blocked internet on this device, so this camera is currently, the camera stream is not exposed to the internet. And let's see, we should lose access to this camera here. Let's test it. Right, so connection failed. The way I've done it is I've of the internet access for the camera. So if we go to the pfSense firewall rules, I've set up this rule to not allow it access to any of the, so anything which is not a private network. So basically the RFC 1918, I've set that up as an alias, and I've blocked the access for this specific IP address of the camera to anything other than private networks. So this allows me to access this basically set up an alias called private networks, which maps to RFC 1918, and I've blocked access to anything other than that private networks alias for the camera IP address, which allows me to block the internet on it but can still access it on the local network. Going back to the phone, once I will open the OpenVPN client and let's connect to the OpenVPN server. So just clicking the switch, as you can see it's connected. Now if I go to the Reolink app, go back to the Reolink app, double click on it, You can see, so the connection. So even though I'm now on the internet, but I'm able to access it because I have set up the OpenVPN access. So there you go. That's how you can connect to your devices from outside your home without having to expose them to the internet. I showed you the camera as an example, but you can use the same setup to access any of your local application instances over LAN from the internet without exposing them to internet. I hope you found that video useful, and if you did, please hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more such videos on similar topics. And I will see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe and stay connected.